Steam archiving has been dying for the last couple of years, and it only seems to be getting worse. There used to be so many ways to research an account, but now every third-party site keeps making it more and more difficult. The main reason people use third-party sites is to see the history of an account and to see if someone is a bad actor. If their account was recently purchased, you can always tell by looking at old usernames. If old names are way different from recent names, then that means the account has most likely swapped owners. If the account was purchased or stolen, that's a huge red flag and almost guarantees the person is cheating or doing something wrong, since they've already broken terms of service. Steam ID used to be helpful when it came to researching an account and seeing if it was bought or stolen. You would just search their account and it would show past avatars, names, Steam IDs, and even their Steam level history, so you could see how slow or fast someone leveled up. It stopped being useful in 2020 when they added the ability to opt out, which basically killed the site. I know they're legally required to do it because of the GDPR privacy guidelines, but those rules only apply to people who live in Europe. Since there's no real way to verify location because VPNs exist, then no one should get the option unless they verify ID or something. Because all this did was allow cheaters and bad actors to opt out on their bot accounts. Why would public Steam data even need to be hidden? Everything that appears on Steam ID was once on your public Steam profile. If you were dumb enough to use your real name or other personal information on a public video game website, then that's your fault. If you have a bunch of embarrassing names and unfunny pictures that you regret using and you don't want anyone to see, well, too bad. Suck it up and deal with it, or make a new account. Anyway, ever since opt-outs were added, every loser and account buyer opted out. Every person who buys an account can easily hide the previous owner's aliases and LARP like the account was always theirs. And worst of all, this site gatekeeps the few useful features it still has behind a Patreon paywall because it's never about providing a truly useful tool. It's always about money. Now, Steam ID is just a poorly designed site that looks like it was made over a decade ago and forces you to log in and verify your email so it can collect and sell your data. Because, again, money. Next, we have SteamRep, or rather, had, since it's dead now. This site was only useful to see if certain accounts were bought. Opt-outs on SteamRep were less common because people didn't even know about it or didn't care enough. Unlike Steam ID, which automatically tracks accounts and updates periodically, on SteamRep, you had to manually add accounts and the site only updated when someone checked an account again. So it was completely useless except on very rare occasions where it showed old usernames from 10 years ago. And now we have Steam History, which is the new kid on the block, and the only somewhat relevant Steam archive site. Steam History started off strong. At first, no one could opt out, which meant people had to deal with their old unfunny names and face the embarrassment and social shame that came from that. It was great. A site that actually held people accountable for their past behavior. Unfortunately, they caved as well, and it actually lets people opt out now. At least, it sort of makes you have to jump through hoops to opt out, and it's not automatic like how Steam ID is. Steam History only started tracking from 2023, which means it's not that useful to see if an account is stolen or bought. If you're wondering why on some profiles it shows names from before 2023, it's because that account didn't clear its name history before it was added to the site. The owner of Steam History is XVF, who is a normie, and he doesn't understand Steam culture or con people. He'll remove names from obvious cheaters who bought the account 5 minutes ago, and he'll clear names from people who have an OG ID. Somehow, that doesn't raise any red flags. It's not like you need to be deep in comm to understand what having an OG username means, since it's pretty well known at this point. The only unique features that came with Steam History was the cheating list that appeared on someone's profile as a mark of shame. It basically told you that this person was a cheater if you needed confirmation. Useful feature, right? Well, not anymore. Steam History only has a handful of cheater lists, and all but 2 of those lists are pretty much useless, since they're either never updated or have hardly any cheaters on them, usually both. XVF recently removed the only list that actually bothered to update consistently. Why did he do this? Well, the reason actually makes no sense. A cheater got marked on the most obvious cheating account you can imagine. A full black profile, edgy groups, anime and furry avatars, and it was a few months old. Anyone would see this account and instantly know he's cheating, but not XVF apparently. So the cheater went to the Steam History Discord and whined about it, but no one took him seriously and everyone just laughed at him, and they even pointed out that his alt that had been marked and game banned before. So he wasn't just an alleged cheater, he was 100% confirmed. Sometime after this, a friend of the guy who owned the list was game banned, but this ended up being a fake ban. Anyway, the cheater then told XVF that guy was the owner of the list, with literally zero evidence, and he still removed the list. When the actual owners of the list went to question XVF about this, he was totally incoherent. Not only did he insist that the owner of the list was the game-banned person, he proceeded to link completely random cheater accounts and claim they were somehow linked to the game-banned person. When pressed multiple times to provide any evidence whatsoever, he dodged and said he didn't have to. XVF has been dishonest on multiple occasions and lies or obfuscates very frequently. Like when he said deleting accounts would clear their Steam history pages and then never actually implemented it. He acted hard at first and ignored and laughed whenever people threatened to report him for violating the GDPR, back when he didn't allow any opt-outs. And now he's getting played by cheaters. So yeah, Steam archiving is dead. But what's even sadder is, so is Steam stalking. When it came to researching or stalking someone, you used to have so many different options. If someone was on a private account and you added them and you wanted to see if they'd egoed your friend request, you could check their status on SteamDB. You'd put their ID and it would show you if they were online, away, snooze, or offline. If you wanted to check if someone was playing CSGO, you could check their live status on CSGO Stats or on ZonerBot. You could see if they were in a game or queuing for a game. And if they were in a match, you could see their score, who they were queuing with, and who they were playing against. If you wanted to dodge someone, or you wanted to see if your e-date was cheating on you and playing with someone else, you had ways to check, even if they were fake offline. Now, the only option you have is screenshotting their XP bar and seeing if the bar moves, but it won't even tell you who they're playing with. And everyone has private CS stats now. You could also set up a game coordinator that would tell you when someone was queuing or if they were in a game and with who. If your e-girlfriend said she was going to bed at 9 p.m. because she was tired, instead of naively believing her, you could actually check and see for yourself. It's just sad how nerfed Steam stalking has become, and no one seems to care about it. We have so many privacy options, and every website is bending over backwards to accommodate schizos that think Palantir is after them. It's not right, and I hope one day a new Steam archive site comes along that doesn't allow any opt-outs, and it has every mark of shame badge out there, like, this user plays HVH, or this user e-dated a biological male, or something like that.